All right, so what do you want to kvetch about? Me bugging you about the Google spreadsheet or
Yeah. So if there's any like hackers out there, please go hack the spreadsheet and corrupt it so I can't update it. What to fetch about?
I don't know. This last week has been bonkers. What did we have? We had news about Sunstone Way.
Oh boy, yeah. We can talk about that. We should talk about the drawdown in Minneapolis and what that probably means for the rest of the cities.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to talk about some legal observer stuff.
Okay.
We could talk about Pam Bondi.
Oh, I
Or
don't
maybe
know.
it's been talked about to death, but, holy fucking shit. We should talk about the CBPA meeting.
Oh yes, actually.
What else? Let's start with Sunstone.
Well, the Willamette Week article talked about how there was misappropriation of funds, and the whistleblower filed a lawsuit.
Was summarily, fired.
Yes, and you know, I don't know much about the people named. I know their names. I know some of them have bounced around from place to place to place. When somebody jumps around too much, there is always a part of me that's like, why did they leave that job? Why are they in this job? What's going on? Is there something we don't know? So I'm reading that article and I'm like, I recognize these names. And then I talk to a few friends and it's like, oh, that person used to work here and did this thing. And here's the reputation that they had there. And it's like, oh, this might be a common thing, but here, um, they had way more freedom and less oversight. And the idea that they're paying rent on 2 offices and they're just, like, spending money. And somebody else had said, and it didn't make it into the article, that, he used to have a personal trainer come by too, so he was just, like, lifting weights midday. I have no idea what line item that is, and if it's true, but if it is true, which I don't doubt, the problem is that this ruins it for the orgs that are really trying to do everything,
Right,
doing it on the books, doing it above board, and honestly trying to help the people who need the help. When people talk about homeless industrial complex or that it's corrupt and stuff, you get one of these and it taints the other like
yeah,
five, six, seven of them.
yep,
And it just makes it that much harder
yep,
for somebody like PDX Saints Love, somebody like Rosehaven or Outside In to continue their work because people will get more skeptical about, should I donate to you? What are you doing?
right.
And it's just like, you greedy motherfuckers.
That tends to be you could always find a bad actor.
Mhm.
And then you could always find the people that have opposition to whatever goodness people are trying to do out there, and those people are gonna find the bad actor and hold them up and like, "See? Bad actor," right? In these realms, that should be fucking criminal.
Mhm.
I tend to feel like everybody is redeemable. People fuck up, but if there's no accountability process, if there's no kind of transparency to what happened, what are you doing to rectify it, that person should never be hired in that field again.
No,
And
and there's so many other rumors and stories of other folks in this town who've engaged in other types of fraud, and it gets quote unquote handled
yeah,
internally, or it gets handled in community, and it's like, okay, well, no one else knows. And it's like, so how are we supposed to be careful about these things, you
right.
know?
How do you know? It's one of the questions I raised when I worked at the city about contracts, technical contracts that Bureau of Technology Services was putting out there, and also with construction and city funded jobs. I'm like, Is there a scorecard? Did they deliver what they said they were going to? Did it come in on budget? Did it come in on time? Or
Mhm.
does somebody get in the system and because they got one contract, they're automatically eligible for the next one? At least back then, there was no scorecard, there was no system. The same thing with a lot of the contracts with folks that are servicing houseless communities. There's same characters, the same bad actors keep coming
Mhm.
up, And it's like, why are you still giving contracts out to organizations that aren't doing a great job when there are organizations out there that do good work but are maybe smaller or don't get the bigger contracts that you're not willing to take a chance on? And there's never an answer for that because you can't actually ask the question to anybody.
Nope. And,
No
the
one's
the
answerable to it.
no, and the folks who are face to face, day to day, doing all the work, not the admin level, the ones who are meeting the people where they're
Yeah,
at and talking to them, they're the ones who also suffer along the way because this is their job, this is their gig, and they took it for a reason.
yeah,
And then here's an administrative position who's abusing all of that.
yeah. No one goes into nonprofit world to get wealthy unless you're an executive of a well-funded organization, right? They generally pay poorly and long, hard hours dealing through emotional stuff. During the pandemic, one of my kids was, doing phone calls, intake for 211 Info,
Hmm.
and they had to stop what they were doing and sometimes just break down and cry for half an hour
Mhm.
because it's like people are like, "We're sick, we can't work, we're gonna lose our house, we don't have food, we can't go anywhere," and everybody's like, "We don't have any funds, we can't help you. Here's a
Right.
waiting list." And yet, day after day, they still went to work and picked up the phones. And the amount of trauma that comes from that can never be compensated for.
Speaking of trauma, would you like to go into legal observing?
Oh my God. Um, sure. Let's talk about that. Uh, I
Well, so
guess,
you just started like a couple months ago, couple weeks, yeah, a couple months ago, right?
yeah,
Volunteering? Okay.
volunteering as a legal observer with PIRC, Portland Immigrant Resource. I always get it's not
Co-
center,
coalition.
coalition. Thank you. Portland Immigration Resource Coalition. There we go, take 2. Um, anyway, I talk about them 1,000 times a day, and I can still never remember what the last letter stands for. As you're aware, as a legal observer previously, and I've coordinated with legal observers over the years for different events. In college, I actually organized some activism events also.
Mhm.
And we had, they weren't LOs back then, they were just minders kind of looking out for people. There's never not a risk involved with being a legal observer or somebody who is trying to make sure that everybody stays safe during some sort of event. We know from the Normandale shooting
I know.
and things like that, that just trying to be helpful and being a corker, directing traffic can lead to horrific outcomes.
Yeah, I
Um,
was supervising the ACLU legal observers that night, and I volunteer for Perk 2 as a legal observer. I don't do the sign up ones. I tend to do the rapid response ones.
yeah,
So we're supposed to be neutral. So we can't necessarily go in and like protect. We can just document to a degree, but then you have to take that home.
yep. You have to exist with it. We obviously know, what has happened in, Minnesota. We know that, people have had guns pulled on them frequently as legal observers been threatened. People have been threatened down, at, McAdam at the ICE facility. We should
Mhm.
talk about the, fine maybe
Oh, right.
briefly. The thing that I try to impart to some folks who don't really understand what any of this means, in reality is this is community support, is community aid, is community defense.
Mhm.
And showing up for your neighbors in a time of crisis is a privilege, and it's also really hard and fraught because you don't know what's going to happen, and you're going to take the training that you did have and try to apply it best you can to make sure that you're gonna have the best outcomes possible. And, you don't know what you're gonna face when you get into it. I was involved with one last week, and the one from last week, there was somebody who was sitting in their car with a bunch of militia gear, and they were just taking notes, and was really kind to them, offered them snacks in case they were hungry, and let them know that they were in a no parking zone. I was like, "You would not wanna don't want the police to come by and give you a ticket, do you?" And the guy's like, "You want me to move my car?" Like, "Well, that's up to you. I'm just looking out for you." So, really, I think he's like, "What the fuck is happening?" We're in a point of time and society where people who are volunteering for this and getting trained also understand that they are potentially putting their lives on the line. And I fucking hate this moment with every bone in my body. But by the same token, I don't know what else to do other than to show up and be there and try to make sure that the best possible outcomes happen regardless what happens. So, I think not enough people really understand. They tend to think, oh, well, there was a melee or people were yelling and screaming. And most of the events are not like that. Most of the events are something happens, somebody steps up or figures out that they need to document something and be involved or help somebody else. And that's where it escalates because you're in the way of somebody else who has different intentions. I guess it's hard to articulate the feelings you have. It's a scary thing to be in that place, but also feels really important and fulfilling to say, I know my neighbors are vulnerable and I'm going to show up best I can as, a rather oversized white guy, and try to be there for them. And I would hope that if I was in the same situation, my neighbors would do that for me.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, the thing about legal observing is there's also, there's different levels of risk. So some events, ideally nothing should happen. Like a daytime family gathering, ideally nothing should happen. Of course, the labor one that went by the facility down at McAdam should happen. And it's like, that shouldn't have happened given the patterns we see of daytime events.
Right, right,
So we can never guarantee 100%, the chances are never zero, but that sometimes if there's something downtown and it doesn't march, chances are nothing bad will happen.
right.
However, nighttime ones tend to bring out more aggression always from law enforcement. I used to say that cops start the riot. I'll say now federal agents start the riot. Have I
It,
had guns pulled on me? I have. Is it terrifying? Sure. The weird thing is, and this is me, it didn't phase me.
yeah.
And it's because I've had guns pulled on me when I was a kid.
Mm,
So, and I don't wanna say you get used to it, but you get used to it.
yeah,
So I'm very good under pressure.
yeah.
It's not
I
healthy.
no, it's I mean, I've been accused of having an overdeveloped sense of justice. Probably not healthy either. It's probably trauma response, call to action, right?
Mhm,
The best example of that was telling my poli sci prof in college that I'm going to miss a midterm. I think it was a midterm or a final, and asked if I can make it up because I had to go down to a civil rights march in Forsyth County, Georgia. And he was like, "I don't think you should do that." I'm like, "Well, no, I'll make up the test." He's like, "No, you're not ready for this. You have no idea what Southern racism is like." And he was totally right. It broke me as a human being, but
mhm,
it was a moral imperative that I be there and show up for this rally that hell, Dick Gregory and Andrew Young and others put together after 80 years of black people being run out of the county down there. There was a moment where people were in danger and they asked us taller people to shield women and children.
mhm.
And it was hard. But in the moment, fuck yeah. I was like, yep, I'm right there. It wasn't until after the danger was over I collapsed, and the people around me lifted me up like, "We got you, brother," and helped me back to my feet and continued the march, and I nothing's changed in 40 years.
Um, I will say the one thing about legal observing is that you have to know yourself. You have to know, are you a fight, flight, freeze, fawn type of person?
Yeah,
You know, it's like you can learn CPR, but are you the type of person who can actually do it? And not everyone can.
yeah.
But yeah. Oh, let's move into the community something 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 m- meeting.
Oh, CB. Well, no, no. Let's stick with McAdam for a second.
Okay. All right.
So, city council, or not city council, I'm sorry, the Portland Planning Commission did find that Stuart Lindquist, who owns the facility that ICE is renting down at McAdam, is in violation of the agreement signed to make sure certain things weren't happening down there, and
Hmm.
will be now fined $930 a month for.
Starting this month?
I don't know if it's retroactive or not. I didn't see that. It'd be great if they went back 10 years. But even if they did, I think it's been about 10 years he's been renting that land for this. I remember reading it's been worth about $30 million to him.
It's
So,
definitely been there at least. Yeah, it's had to be there for 10 years because
yeah,
2018 was Occupy ICE.
that's also when he deliberately tried to drive over a protester.
Oh, I
Um,
forgot. Oh, yeah.
yeah, and
God damn
admitted
it.
it. Admitted, like, yeah, I tried driving over them, they were in the way. And I'm like, why isn't he in jail? And I'm sure there's a reason he's not in jail. I don't know what if he faced charges or not, but
Maybe
that
he
seems
feared for his life. Or,
uh,
well, yes. Anyway.
anyway. So, but guilty, guilty, guilty. That's and any Doonesbury fans from the Nixon days. Mark, the DJ journalist. That was my favorite comic panel was when they found the co-conspirators guilty, and he's pounding on the desk saying, "Guilty, guilty, guilty." So anyway, now yeah, weird ass fucking reference that nobody's gonna get. Let's just cut that out. What was I gonna say? Okay, yeah, let's talk about CBPA. On to
I'm
lighter.
sorry.
Jesus. This is not a reflection on the people who have volunteered to be on CBPA. I want to make that very clear. We're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you.
We
Jesus.
might have to cut this.
Let's cut the context out and let's just leave the laughter
It's just
in.
like we're just fucking cracking up. No, look, I voted. I, oh shit! Fuck this whole thing up.
Um,
I voted to have a police accountability commission program, whatever it was supposed to be. Right. We watched it get sliced and diced before the last councilor commissioners hiked out of City
yeah,
Hall.
it got seriously nerfed.
Mm-hmm. And that felt egregious. However, it still moved forward. So thank God it moved forward. This
Right.
whole past 2025 was putting it together. Definitely hit some snags. Definitely had some why is this taking so long? So the first meeting was Wednesday night. And I didn't know what to expect, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I had been watching City Council where they were like, where Bob Weinstein, not Weinstein.
Weinstein. I think it was Weinstein.
No, he wants it pronounced differently to,
Oh,
I think,
Weinstein.
create a
Okay.
separation between other Weinsteins
Okay.
and Epsteins. And
Sure.
anyway, so I was watching that where it's like, well,
Weinstein. Yeah. The
yeah, so
French pronunciation.
I guess, and you know this, and a lot of people have said this to me, and I am unapologetic about it. I have very high standards
Mm-hmm.
because this shit is too important to fuck up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess I was expecting more order. I guess I was assuming that folks would have been somewhat trained or understood that this has to run somewhat with a governance very, very similar to like a Robert's rules. You need a quorum, you need other things. You do need a chair, or you can work on how to share power differently. So I was expecting a lot more organization.
I get some of the challenges is that being the way we structure our public committees, a lot of things have to be decided in public in real time with the ability for people to the community to provide input, which is really critical. But that does not mean that you should not be able to have some frameworks already established to work within, such as what are the 5 most common structures for a committee of like this to exist, and disseminate them beforehand and say, guys, can you look at this? Here's the different ways that you can implement this. Think about it. So when you come to the table, we have something to talk about. It could have been a pick from column A, B, C, D, and
Hmm.
E. Come talk about it Wednesday night. There is all this pre work that could have happened so that the focus could have been on decision making rather than people saying, well, I think we could do this. I think we could do that. Should we hire a director? Yes. How would you like to hire a director? Everybody's like, we don't know. We don't hire directors. Isn't that what the
Oh
city
no, no,
does?
no, no, no. And this. I do appreciate everyone who joined. No, no, no. There was that one guy who said, "Hey, why don't you be the director?" And it's like, "Excuse me? That's not how you hire people."
Right.
And then the other guy, maybe it was the same guy, who wanted to make sure that there would be dinner at these meetings. And it's like, I understand you're hungry.
To be fair, when we do a public PSEP meeting, we sometimes have snacks.
You do, and
So
that's great. But to have that
still, that's
said,
something that doesn't have to be discussed in the moment.
'cause you know what it does? It takes the emphasis off the purpose and the mission of the meeting, and it just makes my impression was bro is hungry and he just wants to make sure he always gets a free dinner when he does these meetings. And I was like, "Sir."
I try to be as objectively fair about these things, but
Oh, you're nicer than me by far.
I do well, yeah, because I can't, I can't protect myself as well as you can when somebody comes up and tries to be, you know, I'm I don't even know what that means. Anyway, I got nothing. There should have been pre-work done that was not making decisions, but offering solutions ahead of time of the things that needed to be decided on. That would have been probably the best thing. At least people could have had the opportunity to meet each other, do some really team building things, so
Trust
that
falls?
people who
Trust falls?
trust falls. Yeah, no, no, I always say pull noodles at 10 paces and then just
Oh,
go
that would
at
be
it. The
great.
last person standing gets to be the, chair.
You should,
Um,
that's how you should do PSEP.
I have suggested it. Honest to God, I have suggested that when we have conflict, pull noodles. And,
Or and if they want something a little more aggressive, dodgeball.
no, no, too much trauma. I'll just
Alright,
cry.
fine.
I'll just
Alright.
collapse and cry. I still have marks from 2nd grade. Anyway, bruises, that's the word I'm looking for.
I was the idiot who used to headhunt, so I apologize. Where you throw the ball at somebody's face.
You have to dominate however you can, I
Well, I
understand
was
that.
very small. I had to, you know.
That's what I'm saying, and
Yes.
that's why, like, running around and this was true, I'd have asthma attacks, and if you're chasing me with a fucking dodgeball, I'm gonna have an asthma attack, and I get excused, and then I get to go to the nurse's office and the library, and I'm like, "Yeah, fuck you all, I got asthma."
Yeah, and I was
Anyway,
very short and a pound for every inch of my height. So I had to make up for in other ways, which was, "I
wow,
will throw the ball at your head."
fucking fair. Um, I think that was a really challenging meeting, and it looked like chaos because it was pretty chaotic.
Mhm.
But there's still so much left to do just on how to structure the damn thing.
Yes,
And
and I don't know if it was Yume Delgado or Councilor Canal who said make subcommittees. They absolutely have to. And they
yeah,
have to figure out the frequency that they will meet, because if they meet too often, they will burn themselves out.
yes,
If they don't meet often enough, it will be another year until they actually start to do the meat and
yeah.
potatoes, which is look at cases.
Yeah, and that's why just forming it, if they're gonna take this free form approach and see what comes of it, they need to meet every week for the next couple months until they figure the shit out and what the right cadence is, and we still don't know what their order of business is going to be as far as being able to review things, and if they need to figure that out on their own, it will fail
Yes.
because that is not how you do accountability and transparency. There are models for all of this that should have been front loaded. I'm curious to
Absolutely.
see what the next steps are. Yeah.
And like, I mean, some of that had been sketched out before it got, like, massacred. The thing is,
Yeah.
like, it wasn't just a, "Hey, guys, do you want a police accountability group?" And everyone goes, "Yeah." It was like, "Here's the plan. Here's what it will do. Here's how we envision it." And then a lot of that got, like,
Got nerfed
gutted.
and gutted, nerfed, and then thrown into levels of chaos where 90% of the conversation over the last year has been over the bias clause, which is
Mhm.
fucking ridiculous to begin with, right? But if you throw a canard in there like that, it's impossible to get anything else done because 'cause you're spending your time on it.
The
So,
bias clause. Yes, what they only checked Facebook.
well, that's good because people only do their shit talking on I don't know, it's just like,
We
come
do
on.
ours here.
Yeah, well, there we go, right? Yeah, and somebody has a very active Blue Sky account. My motto is "Be kind because you can." So, I
Mine is I could be meaner.
I could be meaner. That's right. Alright, well, let me tell one story, um,
Absolutely.
that is unrelated to everything else other than being mean. It was 2015. I did what I think was my funniest Facebook post ever, which was a play on Gamergate and on Homecraft and stuff like that for Halloween, where I was like, "Look, parents, it's not my fault if your kid shows up at my door during Halloween wanting candy with their Elsie the Frost Witch costume that was bought at Fred Meyer at the last moment. They don't get a fucking candy bar. This is about ethics and costuming." And I probably had 150 responses to it. I had people screaming at me, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" and unfriending me. I had people correcting me. It's Elsa and she's not a witch. And my favorite response was one friend of mine just wrote, "Be meaner." And that's my second I'm gonna correct this. I'm gonna add one more quick story, and I'm telling the short versions of this. Um, I was in Las Vegas, and normally when I get to rent a car at Hertz, I get a pretty decent car, but they were out of decent cars, and I had a little cough drop shaped subcompact that was a
Okay.
bright blue. I don't know what it was, Nissan cough drop,
Mhm.
and so I had my kids take a picture of me leaning out of it, and, my caption I posted on Facebook was, "They see me rolling, they hate it." And one of my friends, Ted, a black man about my age, just wrote, "The hell is wrong with you?"
It's like so
And
many things, we don't have time.
Ted, I love you so much because that was my favorite response ever, was, "Yes, thank you for seeing me. What the fuck is wrong with me?" Right,
I've had people, like, be like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "We really don't have time to get into
Yeah,
that.
seriously, and I'm
It'll
not
take
paying
years.
so
However,
any
could there be dinner if we're gonna go?" No, I'm sorry.
right.
Sorry. Still a little hung up on that one. I'm hungry all the time, I get it, but that oh my god, bring a granola bar or something. bro.
Yeah, bring snacks. I always have snacks on. All right. So, upcoming, we are talking with Chris from.
Ground Score Association, who works
Thank
at
you.
the People's Depot.
I forgot to do a plug for our mugs. We now have Progress Portland mugs. Yeah, so fuck off, exactly. And we have a limited edition mug.
Oh no, no, yes,
That is
I
the one for your friend in New York who ordered the very first "Shut the Fuck Up" cat mug. So, and
yes,
then
my friend in New York, who I've known since I was 17, would really love for me to shut the
my
fuck up.
friend in New York ordered the very first "Shut the Fuck Up" Kip mug, who I've known since, yeah, I've been 14 or 15. So,
So
it's
clearly,
because
our friends really just want us to shut the fuck
our
up.
people love us and want us to shut the fuck up. So, you too can have your own "Shut the Fuck Up" Kip or cat. Limited edition will, the normal mugs will have our slogan on them. Um, Solving Portland's challenges through community and conversation. I like "Shut the Fuck Up" better, but that's just me. All
Well, we
right.
have to have nice mug. We have to have family-friendly mugs. So there
Family
you go.
friendly mugs.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I
Shut
will
the
talk
fuck
to
up,
you later.
cat. Talk to you soon.
Progress Portland is also on Facebook and Instagram, and we have event listings and updates on our website, progressportland.org. There's a content form on our website if you'd like to help out or have questions or comments. Our theme music is by the Portland band Helvetia.